Hi, and welcome to SimpleSpiritualityPH. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Regine. I am an intuitive, manifesting-based tarot reader. I am a certified Reiki healer and an overall lightworker. And before we dive into today's episode, I would like to invite everyone who would like to receive notifications of my new videos to please hit the subscribe button over there. If you like this video later on, please give it your thumbs up. If you have any comments or suggestions, you want to say hey, just comment down below. And if you would like your very own tarot reading or Reiki healing session with me, online for now, of course, we'll hear the details. All right, so let's get to the meat of the video. Now, in my first video of this, there we go. In my first video that I did for this, I only concentrated on what you could do for the inside. So this video, as you maybe can tell from the title, this video is going to focus more on what to do during Mercury Retrograde, what to do with your gadgets, basically, when it comes to Mercury Retrograde. So something very interesting happens to me whenever it's Mercury Retrograde. Not to me directly, but to my gadgets. And that's basically, my gadgets feel very attacked by Mercury Retrograde, which is probably, not probably, but which is actually a belief that I have. So I guess I have to retrain myself into thinking differently. But if you are experiencing the same thing, with all your gadgets during Mercury Retrograde, this is a video for you. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication. And so a lot of times what happens to my gadgets is, for example, my phone gets slow, it lags. Sometimes there have been times that I have not received the messages that I was supposed to receive during Mercury Retrograde. And I would have receipts from my friends and they'd say, like, for example, hey, I sent you this message, but why didn't you read it? And I would look at my phone and I wouldn't have it. And I've also experienced a lot of lagging when it comes to my computer during Mercury Retrograde. There was one time during a retrograde that what do you call that button? It's this one at the side. I have an iPhone 10. It's this button at the side. It became so flat inside that I couldn't turn my phone off and on, and then it just popped right back out after Mercury Retrograde. So what do you do when these ridiculous things happen to your gadgets during Mercury Retrograde? All right. So whenever you discover that it is Mercury Retrograde, the first thing that you want to do is to basically back up your files. Back up your files on your phone, back up your files on your computer, back up anything that needs to be backed up. Back up anything that needs to be running smoothly, so to speak. If there is an important file that you have, wherever gadget it is on, back it up. And you should be doing this anyway, even if it's not Mercury Retrograde. I guess for me, it's just very day-to-day basis. It's very routinary. That's what I meant. It's very routinary because by day, I'm a business risk analyst. And so I deal with a lot of data. And whenever I get a piece of data, I back it up in my computer. I back it up on our cloud server. I back it up wherever I can. All right. So you should be doing the same thing with your files, whether it's Mercury Retrograde or not. But most importantly, if you're not doing it on a routinary basis, do it every Mercury Retrograde so that you don't have that excuse of, oh my gosh, I can't get to my files, or oh my gosh, I've lost a lot of data that I need, or I've lost a lot of files that I actually need. All right, because that has happened to me in the past, and it sucks. Let me tell you that it just sucks. All right, so you can see the pain that I've experienced with that one thing alone. Now, the second thing is, don't be alarmed or afraid whenever you get, let's say, for example, a lagging computer or a lagging phone during Mercury retrograde. You know, those times when you are, let's say, for example, downloading a big piece of information, or maybe you're dealing with a big file, or maybe you're even like buffering a video on YouTube, right? And it's just so slow. That happens a lot of times during Mercury retrograde, much more times than on the regular basis, I've noticed. And it happens to me a lot of times during Mercury retrograde. So what I do is, whenever I do experience that, I go do something else that is not related to just focusing on the screen, that is not related to just waiting for my stuff to appear on the screen, waiting for my screen to load, waiting for my file to download, waiting for the video to finally buffer completely. All right? Because in this focus-based universe, again, what we focus on expands. If you keep focusing on a video being buffering, then you're manifesting more of that, you know? So what you want to do is to cut it there and do something really separate from just waiting on your video to buffer, or waiting for your file to load, or, you know, speeding things up on your computer. So whenever you do experience that during Mercury retrograde, it'll pass. Don't worry, especially if you experience it often. I myself, I work, my day job requires me to be on the computer for all of my work hours, and even beyond work hours. And so it's very difficult for me to not have everything at once, not have everything, you know, loaded and ready to go, and just, just ready for me. So whenever I experience that, I just look away. I do something else for the time being. I don't put my focus on what is not happening, and I put my focus on what is happening for me. So maybe I'll drink a cup of water, or maybe I'll go get a cup of water. Maybe I'll go get myself a cup of coffee. Maybe I will walk around a little bit, you know, stretch my legs and my arms a little bit, and then just go back to your computer or your device after a couple of minutes. When you've actually forgotten that you're waiting for something to load, for something to download, that's when it usually happens. Why? Because your focus is not on the downloading anymore. Your focus is not on the problem. Your focus was suddenly shifted to something else. And whatever we focus on expands. So it also happens that when we redirect focus from something else, then that ceases to occur. I hope I made that clear. It was a bit of a ramble for that. I didn't know how to explain it well, but I'm sure you got it. Yeah? So that is the second tip. Now, my third tip really is to just not panic. You know, like I said in the past, there has been one retrograde when this button on my phone, it kind of slid down. And it was so annoying. I was so afraid because I actually couldn't turn my phone on because I was in the middle of updating something, and it just stopped. And it told me to reset my phone. So I tried to reset it. But in order to do that on an iPhone X, an iPhone 10, you need to do this, kind of like press the volume and this button here. I forget what it's called, the main button here. But I couldn't do that because this wasn't elevated. I couldn't press it, literally. And so I could not use my phone at the time. And I was literally panicking because I didn't know what to do. And I went to one of the service centers here, and they told me that they couldn't, you know, do that. So that was weird. And I was just really panicking. And I remember that was like the last day of Mercury retrograde when that happened. And so I went home that day feeling so afraid that I would have to replace my phone. But then the next day, when I finally got myself together, you know, when I finally kind of calmed down, and I said to myself that I needed to find a solution. I needed to manifest a solution because obviously the service center wouldn't tell me the solution, or they didn't know, rather, what the solution was. So I allowed myself to override the initial panic that Mercury retrograde was giving me. And that's the thing. whenever something bad happens, not just during Mercury retrograde, but whenever something bad happens, don't allow yourself to be caught up in the problem, because that's not what you're looking for. You're actually looking for the solution. And again, whatever we focus on expands. So if you keep focusing on the problem, as I was during that day that it happened, I couldn't find a solution. I didn't know what to do. And I was just panicking. And I really didn't know what to do. What else can I say? So the next day, I thought of a solution, and that solution worked. I actually took tape. I took, it's called metal tape, and it was so sticky and tacky. I placed it here, and I pulled it really hard, and that actually popped up the main button. So that's what I do now whenever that happens. It doesn't happen now, but it used to happen for a little while longer because I was afraid that that had happened. So now it's perfectly fine. But yeah, don't allow that initial panic of your gadgets kind of conking out or slowing down to get over to get the best of you during Mercury retrograde. Just calm down, take it all in and approach it from, okay, this is a problem. What is the solution? And it's that with everything in life, actually. This is what's going on. Do I like it? Yes. Okay, keep going. Do I like it? No. So if it's no, what is the problem? What is the solution, rather? All right. So yeah, that's how it works. Those are just 3 tips, but I hope they were helpful, because this always happens to me during Mercury retrograde. And again, that's a belief that I am currently trying to retrain myself on, because, again, whatever we focus on, that's what expands in our universe. That's what expands into our reality, right? So, but if you do experience this, just know that you're not alone. I mean, this thing is something that is prevalent, not just with me, but with all my other friends who are also get the brunt of Mercury retrograde. So just don't panic, and you can follow these easy steps. Remember, again, even with the backing up, this is something that you need to do without needing it to be Mercury retrograde. You need to do this all the time anyway. Okay? So that's basically my rambling video, but I hope it was helpful. If you like this video, please give it your thumbs up. If you have any comments or suggestions you want to say, hey, comment down below. If you would like to receive notifications of my new videos, please hit the subscribe button over there. And if you would like your very own tarot reading or Reiki healing session with me, online for now, of course, well, here are the details. And I will see you guys next time. Stay happy, stay healthy, and yeah, ciao for now.